Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
President Obama seeks to deconstruct the institution of natural marriage, the healthy cornerstone of any healthy civilization. I'm Matt Barber, Vice President of Liberty Counsel Action. Joining me again today on the phone is Steve Crampton, Liberty Counsel's General Counsel and Vice President. Steve, President Obama, first of all, really is derelict in his duty as president in that he has refused to have his Justice Department, John Holder, defend the Defense of Marriage Act, which passed in 1996 with overwhelming bipartisan support, and was signed into law by then President Bill Clinton. President Obama has taken it a step further. Now he has filed a brief asking for the United States Supreme Court to overturn DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act. Talk about that.
Matt, it's an extraordinary evolution, one might say, in office. You may recall back in the distant past when Obama first ran for office, he was very careful to say that he opposed same-sex marriage and took the kind of mushy middle position that he would favor civil unions and the like. We've now come full circle. First, he pulled back all defense, as you note, ordered the Justice Department to no longer defend federal law that defines marriage as one man, one woman, and preserves the rights of states to legislate and define for themselves what constitutes marriage, and now has aggressively come out and urged the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, and takes the radical extremist position of the most radical homosexual activists in our nation and seeks full, what they call equality, I would call it really supremacy, of the homosexual version, the counterfeit version of what constitutes marriage. It is a shameful development in our nation's history, and our president should be held accountable.
Now, former President Bill Clinton, not one to be outdone, who is known throughout his career as being a finger to the wind kind of guy to kind of see what is the body politique, certainly the liberal movement is where they are in any position. He's kind of a Johnny-come-lately here. President Clinton has seen the left-wing extremist train leaving the station and has run after it and managed to jump on board the caboose here. Bill Clinton has now come out and said that 17 years ago when he signed DOMA into law, that he was wrong to have done so. And apparently, out of 535 senators, there were only 80-something that voted against DOMA. Apparently, the vast majority of our legislators were wrong. What has changed, Steve? Has the family changed? Has the institution of marriage changed? What? This is an amazing evolution in 17 years. Yes. Has anything changed?
Well put question, Matt. No, as best I can tell, no facts have changed. The real idea of marriage, instituted by God himself, of course, back in Genesis chapter 2, has never changed. Every civilized nation, and really most uncivilized nations, have always recognized innately that it is one man, one woman. Family is not something that the state can simply redraw on a blank slate, as it were, and marriage is the absolute foundational stone on which all of civilization is based. What's changed instead is nothing but ideology and political activism. Hardly a basis for us to really undo the very DNA of our culture and society. But that is where we stand here with a court that itself has left justice and law and even common sense long behind it. And we have a lot of ideologues that are poised with the stroke of a pen to radically redefine what marriage itself is and what the family is in America.
Now, Steve, in recent weeks, there have been a number of homosexual activists who have come out here in the United States and abroad and said, you know what, they've been intellectually honest here. They've said, you know what, this isn't marriage. Come on, let's be honest. Marriage requires the binary relationship between male and female. That's what marriage is. When you marry two things, you are marrying two things that are compatible and fit together. Well, Steve, these homosexual activists, people like Jonathan Soroff, for one, and many others, have just been assailed by homosexual activists for pointing out the fundamental truth, the fundamental truism that children deserve a mother and a father. Aren't President Obama and Bill Clinton essentially saying that mom or dad, that they're expendable, that they're throwaway? I don't believe in throwaway parents. Do you?
Absolutely not, and I think that's exactly what they are saying. I mean, in the end, you can't have both. Either you have same-sex marriage or you have parents, a mom and a dad for your children. They want to pretend that you can have everything, but you really can't. I think there's an element to the whole same-sex marriage movement that smacks of the emperor's new clothes, isn't there? And that's why the honest homosexuals, the candid ones who recognize their own great loss as a result of not having a mom and a dad in their home, that they, by telling the truth, have opened themselves up to vicious attack from their own folks. Because the last thing that the left wants to hear is the objective, unassailable truth. And that's what these guys are exposing. The emperor just has no clothes here. Their argument has no basis, no merit.
Well said. It's selfish adults putting their own selfish desires ahead of the best interest of children. Well, Steve, Liberty Counsel, as you know, filed a brief with the Supreme Court, and the case is the United States v. Windsor. This is the DOMA case. Now, quickly, I want to get into a little bit of the legal minutia here. This may seem kind of dry and boring to some people, but this is very important. Liberty Counsel is asserting that the plaintiffs in this case lack no standing to even bring this suit. Can you explain that?
Sure. I mean, the way the case originated was a lesbian couple, and the one woman died, and the other is trying to avoid estate taxes. And so she is suing as the surviving spouse. But, of course, DOMA, defining spouse as the opposite sex member of a recognized marriage, it doesn't work there. Moreover, the marriage, so-called, that they had entered into in that relationship was effectuated in Canada, and they didn't ever have the state of New York actually sanction and formally recognize it. Indeed, the state of New York did not, at the time they were married, recognize same-sex marriage. So they're trying, after the fact, after the death of the one woman, to retroactively create a marriage and then challenge DOMA, the Defensive Marriage Act, on that basis. So it's a real slender reed that they're holding on to in order to establish standing here.
Okay, quickly.
We're exposing that.
Excellent. Quickly, about 30 seconds here. The left, as wont to do, Steve, likes to create the era of inevitability with all this stuff. Is counterfeit same-sex marriage inevitable? Real quickly.
One-word answer, absolutely not. And Matt, let me just throw one other thing in. It's high time that the American people rise up against the tyranny of the judiciary as well. If the judges try to foist this upon us, we need to resist. That's
Excellent.
Our right as Americans.
That's right. In the spirit, folks, of Martin Luther King Jr., it may be a time for peaceful civil disobedience when it comes to the fundamental deconstruction of our most fundamental institutions, marriage and family. Folks, go to lc.org to find out more about what Liberty Counsel is doing, how we are at the forefront in defending natural marriage and protecting marriage, which is under assault. And folks, don't be misled. Same-sex marriage is the head of the spear. If the government puts its official stamp of approval on counterfeit marriage, then the floodgates open for persecution against people who believe in legitimate marriage. Go to lc.org or give Liberty Counsel a call, 1-800-671-1776. It's through your generosity that we are able to stand in the gap and protect legitimate marriage and family. lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.